evening and welcome to Primetime News on the Mitv. I'm Victor Daniels. In the news, the Vice President Kashim Shettima has commissioned the Tudunbiri resettlement scheme in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, fulfilling a pledge made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rebuild the community after it was hit by a military drone accident. The project, implemented under the resettlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict, comprises of 133 housing units, educational facilities and other modern infrastructure designed to restore dignity and stability to displaced families. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, the Vice President described the project as a clear demonstration of Tinubu's administration's people-centered governance, stressing that the federal government would not abandon the citizens in times of adversity. He said the scheme reflects compassion, fairness and justice in governance, while serving as a vehicle for healing and lasting peace. Shettima noted that similar resettlement and recovery projects are ongoing in several states, including Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Niger, Katsina and Benue, reaffirming the government's resolve to leave no affected community behind. Kaduna State Governor Senator Uba Sani, however, commended President Tinubu and the Vice President for their compassion and leadership, describing the project as evidence that human dignity remains central to the governance.
A nation is not measured by the abundance of its resources. A nation is measured by the fairness with which those resources are allocated. Justice in governance is not revealed in lofty declarations. It is revealed in the quiet decisions to protect the vulnerable, to heal communities bruised by circumstances, and to ensure that no citizen is rendered invisible by misfortune. Today stands as a living demonstration of that principle. The commissioning of the Tudunbiri resettlement scheme is an assurance of our collective belief that fairness is the glue that holds a nation together, and that compassion is not a weakness of the state, but its moral strength. We have gathered here to commission a resettlement scheme, but far more importantly, we are here to demonstrate our national commitment to responsibility, empathy, and the protection of humanity. This project reflects the resolve of the federal government to respond decisively to the humanitarian consequences of conflict and internal displacement across our country. The Tudunbiri resettlement scheme is a vehicle for hope for families whose lives were disrupted. It is a practical reassurance that the Nigerian state does not abandon its citizens in times of adversity.
We cannot stand here without recalling the tragic event of 3rd December 2023, when an accidental military strike claimed innocent lives and inflicted deep trauma on this community. On behalf of the government and people of Kaduna State, I again extend our heartfelt condolence to the families who lost loved ones. The pain of that moment remain with us. It must continue to guide our action, remind us of our duty, and compel us to ensure that sorrow is never followed by silence or neglect. Responsible leadership demands remembrance marked by result. From the earliest moment after the tragedy, our administration made a clear and deliberate choice. Tudunbiri will not be left to define itself by grief alone. We choose empathy over indifference, responsibility over excuses, and action over delay.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu Tudunbiri resettlement scheme marks a significant milestone in the federal government's commitment to restoring dignity, stability, and opportunity to communities affected by conflict and humanitarian crisis. This intervention is firmly anchored in the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, which places people-centered recovery, national security, and inclusive development at the core of governance. This project is being implemented under the direct oversight and coordination of the Office of the Vice President, my boss, Your Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. The Vice President's Office has provided the strategic leadership, policy direction, and interagency coordination that have been critical to the successful execution of this initiative. The Tudumbiri resettlement site stands as a clear demonstration of the Vice President's commitment to delivering sustainable recovery for internally displaced and conflict-affected populations in line with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government.
The Senate, through its Committee on Appropriation, has tentatively fixed 17th, 2026 of March for the final consideration and passage of the 58.472 trillion naira 2026 appropriation bill. This was made known after the special session on Friday, where February the 2nd to 13th, 2026 was approved for the consideration of budget estimates at the committee level. The committee equally fixed Monday, February the 9th, 2026 for a public hearing on the budget proposal. Chairman of the committee, Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adiola, further disclosed that Thursday, March the 5th, 2026 has been scheduled for an interactive session between members of the committee and key economic managers of the federal government, including the Ministers of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, as well as the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu. February the 16th to 23rd, 2026 has been marked for the submission of reports on budget defense by various standing committee chairmen ahead of the presentation of the Appropriations Committee report to the Senate on March the 17th. He disclosed that while the Senate leadership initially preferred the budget to be passed by March the 12th, 2026, he successfully appealed for an additional week to allow for more thorough scrutiny. And to aid a detailed examination of the estimates, Senator Adiola said that hard copies of the 2026 budget have been printed and distributed to the chairman and members of the Senate standing committees.
17th, and on the 19th they will now go. So that's it. So, sir, let's put it that on the what's Thursday next week? 5th of.
Next week is the 5th.
So that is 5th on Thursday is for the economic team, while Monday is what? Monday the 9th is for our interactive session. So that the timetable for budget preparation and consideration for 2026 appropriation bill as laid out and amended and seconded by Senator Uzo Kalu, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Defense Headquarters disclosed that Nigerian Armed Forces has recorded a major operational success across the country in January 2026, dealing decisive blows to terrorist and criminal networks. Briefing the journalist, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onaja, said the troops sustained a coordinated offensive operations in line with their constitutional mandate to protect lives, property, and national assets. And in the east, operations against the Boko Haram, ISWAP, and just terrorists across Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states led to the neutralization of several fighters, the arrest of 74 suspects, the rescue of 40 kidnapped victims, and the surrender of 44 terrorists and their family members. And air interdiction missions also destroyed the terrorist hideouts in the Tunubus and in the Tumbans and the Mandara Mountains, eliminating the senior ISWAP commanders. He added that in the northwest, north central, our troops neutralized the terrorists, arrested over 200 suspects, and rescued more than 150 kidnapped victims with arms, ammunition, vehicles, and rustled livestock recovered. In the south-south, security forces dismantled 53 illegal refining sites and arrested 81 oil thieves, while in the southeast, over 80 militants surrendered, leading to a significant drop in crime rates. Major General Onoja reaffirmed the armed forces' commitment to sustaining operations nationwide and urged Nigerians to support security efforts by providing timely and credible information, echoing the Chief of Defense Staff's directive for citizens to see something, say something.
Southeast Operation Udoka, troops of Operation Udoka responded to distress calls on terrorists, sea pirates, militants, and other criminal activities across Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo states. It is worthy to note that over 80 militants recently surrendered to troops, while 8 Cameroonian nationals were also rescued during cross-border patrols along Bakassi waterways. Significantly, crime rate has drastically reduced in the region compared to past crime occurrences. During the month, troops neutralized some terrorists, arrested 72 of them, and rescued 11 kidnapped victims. Arms and ammunition were also recovered from them. Arrested terrorists and recovered weapons are in troops' custody for further action.
Stakeholders in Nigerian tourism and entertainment sectors have reaffirmed the critical role of tourism in driving economic development. The Lagos State Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Toke Benson, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Ikeja on Friday, has said that tourism and entertainment remain vital pillars of Lagos State's economic development strategy. The commissioner, who was represented by the permanent secretary of the state, Lagos Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Bokbo Onyekon Ismail, has said Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has consistently championed tourism, culture and creative economy as engines for growth, stressing that the Nairobi Lifestyle Tour aligns with the state's development agenda. The event underscored the growing importance of structured international travel and lifestyle experiences as tools for economic expansion, job creation, and regional integration across Africa. The Chief Executive Officer of Leisure Republic, Michael Kadiri, described the tourism and lifestyle travel as powerful tools for economic transformation across Africa. He said the sector drives economic growth through premium or tourism which cut across culture, entertainment, wildlife, wellness, cuisine, and luxury hospitality. A tourism expert, Damilola Ajala, outlined the tour structure, logistics, and booking process, emphasizing the role of professional travel management in delivering the seamless tourism experiences that meet the global standards.
Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu is very high on tourism. There's a pillar that is on entertainment in Lagos and also making Lagos a 21st century economy. So this is economic driven. The tours, the visits, the number of footfalls, the people, the exposure, promoting Lagos, because most of the people, the flights are going to take place from Lagos. The visitors and the tourists that are going outside would travel from Lagos, and though it's economy to both, the benefit will be to both parties, but Lagos on the long run would benefit more. and that's why we're here. On the shorter term, more people, once they get there, more people that go to Rwanda or to other African countries, to Kenya, will also know that they need to come visit Lagos and Nigeria by extension. So it's an exchange program that we're very proud to be associated with.
The idea that we must promote Africa to Africa. As I said before, most of the time we go for Africa, Europe, Africa, America, but this is time that we must have inter-Africa package. Let's explore the opportunities we have in other African countries, and let other African countries come over to Nigeria too. Just like what the PAM said, that at least Lagos has become a hub, and we are expecting visitors 365 days. So also, we need to showcase what we have, and that's why we are working with other African countries to make sure that we promote tourism in Africa.
African has been neglected for a long time, and it is high time we actually start looking inward. Like we said in the program, if you ask an average people in Lagos, they would have been to London, they would have been to Dubai, and when you're asking them, how many countries have you been in Africa, and they're looking like, how? Now, so Africa needs to be explored. We have so much to look out for. Our heritage, it takes us back to our heritage. We are economically and culturally gifted. So this is why we are coming to the forefront to actually showcase this to the world.
I'm excited. I'm the brand ambassador, and we are going to be using a lot of social medias because of what's happening around social media space. A lot of people are there, so we are going to use that to push. I'm going to use my Instagram, my Snapchat. We're also going to be doing short content videos to push and talk about Kenya as a whole, Africa, and also the brand, so to make a lot of people involved in it.
The Lagos State Government, environmental engineers and sanitation experts have advocated urgent investment in climate-resilient, technology-driven infrastructure and comprehensive sanitation reforms to safeguard Lagos against flooding, pollution, and the growing impacts of climate change. The experts made the call, came at a public lecture titled The Environment Sector in Lagos, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, during an event for veteran environmental engineers, Engineer Babatunde Adeyemi Oshodi in Lagos. Speaking on the lecture titled Future Ready Professionals for Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs 2030 and beyond, the General Manager of the Lagos State Public Works Corporation and the National Chairman of Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers, Engineer Tokumbo Ajanako, traced the Nigerian's development journey from the Millennium Development Goals to the SDGs. He explained that the SDGs are built on 3 pillars: social, economic, and environmental, and warned that environmental degradation now threatens the progress in the other 2 pillars. A director of LASEPA, Engineer Sesan Dukoya, said the professional lectures was organized to celebrate Oshodi's legacy for mentorship and service. Delivering the keynote address, Engineer Adidapo Ganyu Atadi, the fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, warned that Lagos, Nigeria's commercial nerve center and one of the world's fastest growing megacities, faces a mounting environmental pressure from rapid urbanization, coastal vulnerability, rising sea levels, and increasingly intense rainfall. Ajadi said environmental management in Lagos was largely reactive in the past, characterized by poor drainage networks, weak enforcement of environmental laws, manual waste handling, and low public awareness, which worsened the flooding and environmental degradation. Speaking on the sidelines of the event, Engineer Oshodi criticized the declining quality of professional training, warning against what he described as a microwave generation of professionals lacking practical competence and ethical grounding.
The environmental journey of Lagos from yesterday to today reflects learning, reform, and resilience, while tomorrow demand innovation, collaboration, and vision leadership. With sound policies, committed professionals, and a collective responsibility, Lagos can continue its transformation into livable, resilient, and environmental sustainable megacity for present and future generations.
Higher benchmarks of collaboration, where every professional must be called to bring to the table their very best capacity, their highest level of knowledge, so that in their areas of expertise, their contribution will facilitate or catalyze the success of other people's contribution. When we come together, we succeed together. The future professional must be ready to collaborate, to learn, and to improve. The future professional must be courageous enough to say, I don't know.
We celebrate your legacy, your contributions, and the lives you have influenced. We thank you for your service to the profession, to Lagos State, and to Nigeria at large. On behalf of organizers and the entire professional community, I wish you good health, renewed strength, amen please, and many more years of fulfillment and impact.
I'm humbled, I'm overwhelmed. This is put together by my mentees. People that 20 years ago were my, junior colleagues. They have come up of age and they have now done this honor to me. I am very, very happy about it. Keynote address, the guest speaker, and even the ongoing session, all of these are going to add value to how Lagos State runs, how Nigeria runs, the matters of the environment and beyond. It's a great intellectual exercise that's going to add value to professionalism and governance.
We should be able to collect and treat so that we don't dump untreated fecal sludge into our water bodies that eventually affects our water, our aquifer. And the last part is safe reuse and disposal. That means this treatment could really get to the advanced stage. That means an end-to-end treatment whereby we can generate electricity from the biogas. We can use the biogas to run our vehicles.
From the pillars of the SDGs, said pillar 1 has to do with the social well-being of the citizens. Pillar 2 has to do with the economic well-being of the citizens, providing decent jobs for them, building infrastructures and all. And he said pillar 3 has to do with natural resources, preserving and protecting our natural resources. And I also agree with that, because he said that pillar 3 is the pillar that holds both pillar 1 and pillar 2. Because I mean, what is having a good job that you earn good money, but you later go back to spend those money in the hospital?
The Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights, CHSR, has condemned what it described as a distortion of facts by the chairman of House Committee on Information, Strategy and Scrutiny of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Ogundikbe Stephen Olukayode, over the recent protest by the demolition victims at the Assembly complex in Elausa, Ikeja. In a statement by its president, Comrade Alex Mortense, the human rights organization faulted Ogundikbe's rejoinder on the incident, describing it as a misleading and an attempt to justify what it called the brutal suppression of peaceful protesters by security operatives. The CHSR insisted that, contrary to claims credited to the lawmaker, protesters did not attempt to force their way into the assembly complex, and according to the group, the demonstration was peaceful, orderly and non-violent, and adding that there were media reports, eyewitnesses' accounts and video evidences to support its position. The organization stated that many of the protesters were elderly men and women who had been displaced by the ongoing demolitions in parts of Lagos State and were merely exercising their constitutional right to peaceful assembly. And it noted that in civil society leaders at the protest ground, including Hassan Taiwo Soweto, repeatedly urged the protesters to remain calm and disciplined. The CHSR further alleged that at a point during the protest, demonstrators were asked to sit peacefully on the ground while arrangements were being made to distribute food and water before the security operatives allegedly dispersed the gathering with tear gas. The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has promised to support the Nigerian education system to ensure that Nigerian students achieve their full potential. The First Lady stated this at the Bafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where she commissioned some projects. Our MITV correspondent in Osun State, Jamiu Money, completes the story.
The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, was received by a delegation of traditional rulers led by the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi. The school management led by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Simeon Bamere, as well as political leaders in Osun State. The First Lady commenced the program with the official curtain of ribbon for the presentation of the 50 CNG-powered shuttle buses and 30 tricycles donated to its transportation challenges for students and staffers of the university. The Vice Chancellor appreciated the gesture by the First Lady with an assurance of judicious utilization.
The vehicles are already in good hands that are going to manage the usage of the vehicle. And I want to assure you that these vehicles will be used in such a way that when the First Lady happens to come again at any point in time, she will be very, very grateful and happy that she had actually made a donation to our alma mater.
The management, the students' union, we've been having a series of meetings over the past few weeks on how the operation of these vehicles will be. And as such, I can assure that we'll have a well-managed transportation on campus.
The First Lady from there moved to another point within the university to commission the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Dream Center, a digital innovation hub designed to nurture young people's dream and provide opportunities for skills development and creativity.
So I want to encourage our young people, young men and ladies, dream big and work that dream. Patiently work the dream. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I pray that my story in that dream center would inspire you to have your own dreams.
We gathered here to commission something new and unique. The fusion of digital technology, artificial intelligence, and storytelling to preserve our history.
Speaking at the event, the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, said the Dream Center was built and equipped with modern digital technology to preserve history and inspire the young generation with practical guidance and insights. From Ile-Ife, Jamiu Omani, MITV News.
And staying with educational matters, teachers have been advised to embrace technological teaching methods to further enhance the skills and impart up-to-date knowledge on the students. This admonition came to fore at the two-day teacher workshop held at Lanrele Sports Academy, Ilugbo, Osun State. The teachers were trained on digital teaching approach, advanced technology methods, as well as virtual reality and online quiz, among others. The training, according to the organizers, was to upgrade the skills, knowledge, digital compliance of the teachers in line with the global standards. MITV correspondent Jamiu Money reported that the teachers were exposed to the new trends in technology, online learning platforms, and how to use them. The training is expected to assist in producing technological-oriented students who will be versed in all areas of knowledge. The participants described the workshop as an eye-opener to the technological potentials in advancing teaching and learning. They expressed the confidence that the program will help the students understand and assimilate more easily and in turn improve the education quality in the country.
Yeah, we are here for the seminar about using of technology in education. That is using the other medium other than classroom to teach in the class for both teachers and students to facilitate learning. From the activities that we've done today, everyone that has no idea on IT or little, they have already updated to the highest level of IT today after today's seminar.
Children of nowadays, they learn most things through the phone, through technology. So I believe using technology in teaching these students can encourage the students to learn more than just staying in the classroom and using old traditional teaching. If we are to be using this to teach the students, I believe it will encourage the students to learn more and to be able to assimilate more.
I've been brought here to come and help the school, to support the teachers as well in elevating their teaching. And this has been quite a great opportunity to do so. The teachers are for it. The school is looking to elevate the teachers into a new dimension. And that dimension is actually into advanced technology. It's empowering teaching and learning into the school via IT. And that is using online, social media, having a new learning management system. So the teachers needed to be not only informed but educated in what new technology is, what they can use this technology for, and how they can also use it to enhance their teaching and to prepare the students of the future, because the students of the future are technological students. These students need to go into universities, and most universities now, 90% of it is online and is technologically based. And the school is now taking the next step to take the teachers with them to these new dimensions. So the training today is actually taking them through what I've just talked, the new trends in technology, the learning platforms that are available, what they can use it for, how they can use it, so that they can now impact and empower the students to be able to do the same. The teachers they were really, really very participative today.
And now to business news. The Ekiti state government has presented the breakdown of its 415.57 billion naira 2026 budget, projecting the state's gross domestic product at 8.8 trillion naira. Presenting the budget analysis at the government house in Ado-Ekiti, the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Femi Ajayi, said the budget will drive economic growth through strategic investment in agriculture, education, infrastructure, arts, tourism, and the informal sector. Ajayi explained that the budget aligns with the 2026-2028 medium-term expenditure framework and the state's 30-year development plan, with emphasis on completing the ongoing projects. The Chief of Staff to the Governor, Mr. Ni Adebayo, commended Governor Obiodun Oyebanji for promoting inclusive governance and fiscal transparency. And also speaking, the Special Advisor to the Governor on OTSG, Mr. John Ekundayo, said the state government has achieved about 95% implementation of the 2025 budget, assuring the residents that the administration is poised to deliver even more in the 2026 fiscal year. The event attracted the top government officials, traditional rulers, and financial stakeholders.
Effective governance is expected to strengthen the state economy through strategic intervention in the agriculture, arts, education, infrastructure, and tourism, and the informal sector. The creation of some selected towns roads in Ado and Ikere-Ekiti metropolis, construction of GRA third extension behind NTA Road, Ado-Ekiti, rehabilitation of the Herfaglo Buhari Junction, Bashiri Junction Road, Ado-Ekiti, rehabilitation of Itapa Ijelu Omo Road, and additional works on the construction of River Ele Bridge, Itapa. We will sustain the philosophy of shared prosperity. All sectors of the economy have been addressed within the ambit of our available resources.
I assure everybody here that we're not just looking at Ado-Ekiti, and we're trying to spread development all over the state and ensure that everybody feels the touch of this administration. And just like the mantra of the administration goes, which is shared prosperity, I think the prosperity of Ekiti is reaching everybody and everybody partakes of it.
I believe in infrastructural development. You can see a large chunk of the budget was boosted there, but it's actually performing. And that's to attest to the giant stride the Governor Biodun Abayomi is making in infrastructure in Ekiti. It has not been like that before. We have many roads now cutting across all the 16 local governments that are being touched or that are scheduled to be touched in 2026 budget. So, it's not that the development is only centered around Ado-Ekiti. No, we have our, Esure, Ifaki, to Jero Road. We have, this Koleara, Isimbode Road completed last year.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, has reaffirmed the Apex Bank's commitment to financial sector reforms and the attraction of long-term capital. Cardoso stated this while hosting a delegation from British International Investment, led by its chair, Diana Layfield, alongside the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery. He emphasized the CBN's focus on macroeconomic stability, credible monetary policy, and a transparent, data-driven regulatory framework to strengthen the banking system and improve financial intermission. Discussions at the meeting centered on developments in Nigeria's financial services sector, a bill's investment outlook, and opportunities to deploy patient capital to support the banking stability, financial inclusion, and sustainable private sector growth. Layfield reaffirmed the bill's continued interest in Nigeria, stressing the importance of regulatory clarity and sustained engagement to drive inclusive growth. The British International Investment is the United Kingdom's development finance institution with assets of nearly £10 billion, supporting over 1,600 businesses across the emerging markets. Members of the organized private sector OPS in Nigeria have reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to the nation's ambition of building a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The President, Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Engineer Jami Ibrahim, made this known on Friday during a strategy meeting in Lagos, where he urged the governments at all levels and key stakeholders to work assiduously to unlock the vast potential of OPS members in achieving the national goal. Engineer Ibrahim described the $1 trillion economy target as bold and achievable, noting that as its realization depends on the collective efforts of all stakeholders to harness the future opportunities and drive a sustainable growth. He called for the creation of a more conducive business environment for the OPS members to thrive, while also urging the lawmakers to expedite the passage of laws that would promote businesses' development and economic expansion in the country. And also speaking, the national president, Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, Engineer Dr. Abdul Rashid Yorima, stressed the need to strengthen the economy and sustain an enabling environment for businesses to grow. Similarly, the National President, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Otumba Francis Meshoye, stated that the OPS members are comfortably with the new tax reforms and are ready to support economic progress while balancing the growth with environmental stewardship.
The aim of the organized private sector is to work together in unison to achieve and surpass the $1 trillion economy by 2030, as charged by Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is our singular objective, and it's in working together as a team, as a group, with one voice, working in the same direction that this can be achieved. So we want to remove all the bottlenecks that would create any friction, remove all the bottlenecks that will slow down this trajectory. And that is why we are meeting today in a retreat, which all the members of the private sector are here.
The ombudsman is to also take care of all the challenges of our MSMEs. So we believe that this tax law is the one that will really, really support MSMEs, because we are part of it right from day one. Up to this moment, we are also part of it. We are engaging with our members. We are engaging with all the MSMEs in the country. And you can see now that even the workers now, this month, those that collected their salaries, they did not complain, because those who are earning 800,000 naira below, they are zero rise. They did not take any pay. So the same thing on those who are in the agri sector, also they have been zero rise. What it means is that they buy any of their inputs and they paid taxes, they can recover the taxes back, but they cannot collect tax. Yes, so that also will make the price of food items to come down, also help farmers to grow more for us to feed our country.
Taxation in this instance, then you understand why such is necessary. And if there's any gray area remaining after that, we are comfortable. The president of OPSN associations members are comfortable. Okay, then you can now tell our members this is what it means. It's like training the trainer, that kind of a thing. So when you have that understanding, it's better off. Now, if I'm convinced on some matters, they will now look at it that, okay. And the way I've seen the chairman, Professor Edele, is that is from the one, his system is not a closed system. We can always improve and improve. So if there's a convincing gray area, we can bring it to him, and we can all come to look at it as an association and find a way to really bring this to the government to improve. We do not intend to undermine the government objective, no. But we are looking at when it is a win-win situation. Government is thriving, private sector is thriving. The government can't thrive so much if private sector is suffering. They need a tax. So if we are not making money, then where would they get the tax? And that is the principle I always say. If you give us headache, we won't bring more taxes. There will be less employment. There will be less profit. There will be no capital gains, because we won't say. So everything will just be. So, but if we understand you are moving, you thrive better as government, and that is the issue here.
And that's it on the local scene. We now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some stories on the foreign scene.
Ramadan, the only month of blessings and forgiveness, is here again. This is an opportunity for corporate bodies to grow their brands and individuals to enjoy unending blessing from Allah by way of sponsoring any of our ARI programs, specially packaged for this Ramadan period. You can sponsor our call to prayer, Ramadan Tafsir, Taraweeh live from Holy Kaaba, Makkah and Medina, Iftar Family Quiz Show, Dawn Transmission from 3 to 7 a.m. and lots more at affordable cost. For information on how you can be part of this program, contact our marketing department for details or call any of the following lines: 0803 300 4531 or 0803 515 8756 or 002 928 0721. Ramadan Mubarak.
Back in the foreign scene, Burkina Faso's junta has announced the ban on all political parties whose activities have been suspended since the military seized power in 2022. A junta leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, has been criticized for suppressing a dissent, and the move will be seen as the latest move to tighten the control. Burkina Faso's Interior Minister, Emile Zebo, said the ban is part of the plans to rebuild the state after what he said were numerous abuses in the country's multi-party system, which, according to him, had been promoting divisions among citizens and weakening the social fabric. Parties were previously banned from holding public gatherings, but the new decree stops them from operating altogether. And all the assets of the dissolved parties would be transferred to the state, as Zebel said, and adding that a draft law would be sent to the Transitional Legislative Assembly as soon as possible. Still in Africa, suspected jihadists have launched an attack on the international airport outside Niger's capital, Niamey. Niger's defense ministry said the 4 military personnel were injured and 20 attackers were killed, with the state television saying that a French national was among them. There were 11 arrests over the attack at Diori Hamani International Airport overnight from Wednesday to Thursday, in which sustained heavy gunfire and loud explosions were heard nearby. The eyewitnesses' accounts and videos showed the air defense systems apparently engaging unidentified projectiles in the early hours of Thursday, but services at the airport returned to normal during the day. The head of Niger's junta thanked the Russia for its help in foiling the attack on the airport and accused the presidents of France, Benin, and Ivory Coast of backing those responsible. Iran has threatened to instantly strike the U.S. bases and aircraft carriers in response to any attack after the U.S. President Donald Trump warned that time was running out for Tehran to make a nuclear deal, and the EU blacklisted its Revolutionary Guards as a terrorist organization. Iran's military spokesman, Brigadier General Mohammad Akraminia, told the state television that the U.S. aircraft carriers have a series of vulnerabilities and that the numerous U.S. military assets in the Gulf region are within the range of Iran medium-range missiles. The United States and Iran are engaged in increasingly hostile rhetoric as the U.S. warship move into Arabian Sea, despite the regional nations seeking a diplomatic solution to prevent a military flare-up. Meanwhile, the U.S. President Donald Trump says that he has told Iran that it has to do with two things to avoid military actions as the U.S. built up its forces in the Gulf. His latest remarks follow weeks of pressure on Iran to negotiate a deal on its nuclear program. Trump made his latest comments at the premiere of a documentary about his wife, Melania, where he stated that Iran must put an end to the nuclear ambition and stop the killing of protesters. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said the armed forces were ready with their fingers on the trigger to immediately and powerfully respond to any aggression. He warned that a massive armada is heading to Iran and it was ready willing and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence, and if necessary, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said the armed forces were ready with their fingers on the trigger to immediately and powerfully respond to any aggression. We'll now take a short break. Where we'll come back, we'll give you some stories in sport. Welcome back in sports. Real Madrid were handed a quick rematch with Jose Mourinho's Benfica in the draw for the Champions League playoff round on Friday, while the reigning European champions Paris Saint-Germain will face a domestic rivals Monaco. The Champions League knockout stages gets underway with the playoffs round played over 2 legs on Friday the 17th and 18th and February the 24th and 25th, 2026. The round of 16 will also be contested across 2 legs, with fixtures scheduled for March the 10th and 11th and March the 17th and 18th, 2026. The competition then moves into the quarterfinals on April the 7th and 8th and April the 14th and 15th, 2026, followed by the semifinals, which will be played on April the 28th and 29th and May the 5th and 6th, 2026. The 2025-26 Champions League season will conclude with a final on May the 30th, 2026. Nottingham Forest face a doubting trip to Istanbul after being drawn on Friday to play Fenerbahce in the knockout phase playoffs of the Europa League, while Celtic must take on German giants VfB Stuttgart. Forest, who sits just above the relegation zone in the Premier League, finished 13th out of the 36 teams in the Europa League, and so were seeded for the playoff draw. Celtic will host Stuttgart. Other ties in the playoffs include Bologna of Serie A playing Brann Bergen of Norway and Lille taking on Red Star Belgrade. Aston Villa among the 8 teams are straight through to the last 16 and will play one of Lille, Red Star Belgrade, PAOK or Celta de Vigo in that round. And talking tennis, world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz reached his first Australian Open final after coming back from the brink to defeat Alexander Zverev in a dramatic 5-set match on Friday. Alcaraz, who won 6-4, 7-6, 7-5, 6-7, 3-7, 6-7, 4-7, 7-5 in a match that lasted 5 hours and 27 minutes in Melbourne. He looked in control after winning the first 2 sets, but the match turned into the 3rd set when he began to cramp while 4-4. The Spaniard needed a medical timeout and struggled to move and serve afterwards, and allowing the Zverev to push the match into a deciding 5th set. Zverev then took the lead in the final set and served for the match at 5-4, but however, Alcaraz fought back, breaking Zverev to level the set and later breaking again to win the match. Meanwhile, Novak Djokovic will face Carlos Alcaraz in the Australian Open final after stunning reigning 2-time champion Jannik Sinner early on Saturday in a 5-set marathon to move to the brink of history. The 38-year-old Seb rolled back the years to battle past Sinner 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4. Sinner made a rapid start at the Rod Laver Arena, breaking Djokovic's serve to race into a 3-0 lead, but Djokovic came back into the game, breaking serve for a 3-1 lead in the 2nd set, and then saving 3 break points for 4-1. They went to a deciding 5th set, and the tension went up another notch as Sinner repeatedly squandered chances to break a serve, and Djokovic was ruthless, seizing the break for 4-3, and then holding and cruised to a 11th Melbourne final within the reach. And that's where we draw the curtain on tonight's news. I remain Victor Daniels. Good night.